Welcome to Coffee Bar Stories,
A small town comedy and DTZ Entertainment presentation.
hosted by Dad and Son.
Welcome to the episode 6 of the Coffee Bar Stories. And today we have some stories from a friend of Dad's. And we know this type of friend. We all have a friend like this. They come around in your life every so often, and you're always catching up with them, and they always have these wacky stories. Now, Dad's heard a few from this guy, and he's going to tell us a few of them that he really enjoyed. So, kick it off.
All right, bud. Here's how we're gonna do this. This guy, I talk to him every now and then. I see him every few years. We get together, and back then, and would have some beers. Not so much anymore, but back then we did. And he always claimed to have a friend up where he lives. He lives near this big, or right on the outskirts of a big city in the United States, and he always claims to know this guy in the mob up there and stuff, and where he's at. And for whatever it's worth, I've never, like, when I would visit or anything, I never met none of these people he would talk about or none. So, as far as the weight of the stories, I won't confirm or anything on it, because I don't. These are just his stories. I can't back it up with nothing. So, as far as we're concerned, they're just take it as what it's for. It's for entertainment, basically. Nobody probably real in them, but he claims to know these people, and they've told him these stories. So he's telling me stories about the mob. So I'll try to kind of give you a rundown of 3 different stories that he had told me through the years and stuff, and I'll explain a little bit. So as far as it's concerned, he's claiming that these are true stories that was told to him, but we'll take it for what it is in the story. All right, son. Like the first story, he told me this guy told him that was a guy they considered like a collector. What he did, basically like loan sharks, people they were extorting. If they didn't pay up, they send this guy to go get them.
Okay.
To get the money or whatever, get to do something with and stuff. And we would sit there, and he would tell me this story. I probably have heard it 3 to 4 different times. He's elaborated a little bit this and that way.
Every time he's told, but it's always had more detail, basically.
Yeah, but I'll try to stick to the best version I know of it.
Alrighty.
So, all right. So this guy, this collector, he gets called up and is told that he's got a deadbeat to go get. And this guy that's a deadbeat also is supposedly connected to like a gangbanging type organization.
All right.
So basically, he borrowed money. This gangbanger, we'll just say he's a gangbanger. This gangbanger borrowed money, didn't pay the guy, and he's basically snubbing him. So now the guy, the collector they're sending, he makes like 2 to 3 attempts to get the guy to to catch up to him and everything, and dude evades him, either dips on him, whatever the case may be. He's avidly missing this guy.
Okay.
He knows who the collector is now, and this collector, from what I was told, he's got a temper like you wouldn't believe. He's the type, you gonna give him money or else. He don't give a fuck. He not no fucking player. Mm-hmm. So he's getting fucking mad, and he does a fucking investigation and shit into this guy. He's like, I want to figure out where the fuck this motherfucker is at. Yeah. I don't give a shit. This punk's gonna fucking get it, because he's voiding us. And the guy said, this is like a month or so worth of him fucking running from this guy. And that's a lot of running, if you ask me. And this guy's a connected. I'm surprised they didn't whack the guy. Just send out guns to get him, and stuff. But
especially after evading this guy for a month. That's a lot of running.
Yeah, in the era he's talking in, like, I think like in the 80s or something. So, these stories would probably be from. So I guess they had the power to get away with trying to do that, but I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe that city had started cracking down or was more harder on it. I don't know, but uh, finally, like I guess a month and a half, he finally tracks this motherfucker and does a like brings in a buddy, I guess, to watch or one of his crew members or something. I guess
Yeah.
I forget how he claimed who he is, but the dude stalks him
Okay.
and he figures out that he's constantly going and staying at this house every uh, Wednesday, third Wednesday of the month.
Okay.
He's there, and he's there for hours in the evening, like 7 to 11 o'clock at night, right?
Yeah.
And dude's watching it, and it's what it is a fucking drug house, and he's up in there cutting up his shit, getting his shit together with no money and the whole nine, right? And shit like that. So this has got a shit ton of drugs in it, shit ton of money all the time and stuff. Well, the guy's like, fuck him. I'm going to take that and I'm going to take his fucking money. After he finds out where the guy's at, he's like, I'm going to fucking take it all.
I mean, at
So
this
he
point,
comes up with a
yeah.
plan. He gets he gets 3 other guys, and they're like, fuck it. Here's how it's going to work. They watched the house till like 8:15 because they noticed that the guy that tracked this house for him and clocked it and everything had noticed how like around 8:15 or so they must be into like cooking mode, this and that. They're like busy
Yeah.
because it's real somber up front and stuff. You don't see too much action. So one goes to the back door and stuff, and they're fully loaded gun, automatics and illegal. They got pistols. They're fully ready to roll on this.
Oh yeah.
Flak jackets, the whole 9 yards. So they got a guy at the back door. Then he's backed up. The guy at the front door goes up and he's backed up. And they timed it to where the front and the back door go busting in at the same time. They did basically what they're going to do is just drop everybody to the ground. Who didn't comply gets shot, is the way he explained it. I was like, oh boy, okay. So when they get there, everybody's nervous as hell about it and stuff, So they were getting ready to go in. Next thing they know, they're telling me the door's kicked in.
Yeah.
They're going in. There is a house full of people. These people basically held a family hostage.
Oh no! Did they get the wrong house?
No, a family hostage. That was their drug house. These people's home, they took it over. Is what they did.
Oh no!
And those people had to keep a front up in the front of the house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And stuff like that, and stuff. So they come busting through that front door, and the two in the front are freaking the fuck out, like, what in the fuck is this? And they're running into a bedroom. Basically, they let him go and slam the door behind them.
Yeah.
Then the two coming in the back door, they got one cooking up drugs at the stove. He gets taken down. They actually shoot him in the head.
Oh.
And because I guess he went to turn on them or something as they came in. They dropped him. The other one was the guy they're collecting from, sitting at a table doing whatever his money and whatnot.
Yeah.
At drugs and whatnot and stuff, sitting there with that. They grabbed him up and just went to fucking town on him, beating the living shit out of this guy. Probably about 3 to 4 minutes into a good whooping here the ones in the living room, one of them stayed in there.
Yeah.
And the other one came in to see what started loading up and whatnot.
Yeah. See what
He
went
gets shit loaded. All of a sudden, the second guy, he stops kicking because out of the corner of his eye, he sees it must be the basement. It's the basement door.
Yeah.
Cracked just a hair and shit. And they said that about a split second into the guy that stopped kicking him in the head grabbed the collector because he was just going to town on the guy's back.
Yeah.
Grabbed him, and just as he grabbed him, the dude popped up with a shotgun. He shoots, doesn't hit them.
Yeah.
They fire back. They get him in the leg, and 2 more guys come running up. with guns, and they're firing into the kitchen and shit, he was saying.
Oh, God.
And he said that they killed the guy they were supposed to collect from. He got hit from their shooting because it was sporadic.
Oh, yeah.
And the collector ended up dropping one of them in a kneecap, and then the guy, as he went down, the other guy shot him in the head. Then they grabbed the other guy, kind of like gave up, and the collector now, you gotta remember, he's got a fucking temper.
Mm-hmm.
He fucking tapes this guy up.
Oh, no.
Mouth, the whole nine.
Yeah.
Feet, everything. He's going with them.
Oh, no.
So they load up all the drugs, all the fucking money and shit. Now these people are in there and shit, right?
Yeah.
And he's got a decision to make. Do you leave them alive or do you just whack them? And this is a family, kids, couple kids, and a mom and a dad, basically.
Yeah.
So they got a choice to make, right? Are they going to leave them alive or are they going to kill them? And
What do they do?
that's what I'm asking. I'm like, come on, man, you know, you're screwing with me.
Yeah.
He's
what?
like, well, you seen the coldness in him. And I was like, oh.
Oh, no.
And he said the three left, the collector and two of the guys left one guy behind. And basically what he did, set the place on fire, let them get out, burnt the
Yeah.
fucking building down. They got out. Basically, come to find out that he was given like, I don't know, 20 grand. He gave that to them to give to them.
Oh, okay.
Gave to them, and they got in the car and left. I was thinking, you're going to tell me why. Because he's
Yeah.
pissed off.
Yeah.
Well, no. The guy that stayed behind, he goes on. They go to the
He
meeting.
did a nice thing, actually.
Well,
I mean, for the
yeah,
most part,
it's easier to. I think it was more to gather sympathy, influence
yeah,
into an
also,
area
they
to
were
where
what
maybe
you said, they were held hostage basically in their own home. So I mean,
yeah,
having that place and the horrible memory of that place being burnt to the ground and then getting 20 grand and sent on their way. I mean, shit, that's a retribution story right there for them.
yeah. I mean, I think he may have did it as a feel good part to the story. Who
Yeah.
knows? They may have just ended up burning everybody down in there. Who
I
knows?
really hope not.
But after they left, they got this guy in the fucking trunk that they took.
I forgot about Johnny Trunk Knuckles.
So what they did, they go to the guy that sent them to get the money. They cut him money, like they just collected it. He doesn't know about all the other money, right?
Yeah.
And coke and whatever God else that they fucking grabbed up. And supposedly they gave the money to him, and then the guy that they had in the trunk was, I guess, they used him as proof of where it came from
Yeah.
and stuff. They said, did it come from? And he nodded, I guess. Confirmation, I think, is what it was. He just didn't survive it.
Yeah.
They kept one guy that was alive. So then they drive off with the guy. They're cool with the loan shark. He pays off.
collector and everything.
He pays them. He gives them whatever percentage they're required, and they go on. They got this guy, and they take this fucking guy, and they go to the woods with him.
Oh no.
All right, and then they get sadistic.
Oh.
They said he goes to get a point across, and I'm thinking to myself, a point across? You're in the goddamn woods. You're not gonna get a point across. I mean, I get the body thrown out on the street off of such and such boulevard. Yeah, that's gonna be a point. You know what I mean?
This is in the woods.
But yeah, you're talking the woods, dude. What, you gonna leave them out there? They fucking stripped them down. Is what he's telling me. They stripped him down and then basically did survive the game type deal to his ass. Told him to run. They all took off, and there's the four of them. So they just spread out and then started going through the woods and took off, and they just told him to run. You figure he's going to get ahead with adrenaline right off the bat, like a bat out of hell. Boom. But butt naked, no shoes on. Nothing. Yeah. Woods. Can't see. It's not dark from what he said. It was more like dusk. Just enough light that you can still see, but it's darkening fast.
Okay, yeah.
And they said he was blazing through the woods like a bat out of hell, and they're running and stuff after him and started taking pot shots,
Mm-hmm.
And they said finally one of them took off in a sprint and stopped, pulled up his gun, and basically sniped him, caught him in the back of the head and dropped him.
Oh.
And they said that the collector walked over and did his signature on the back, bareback, like, don't borrow money, not pay again type deal, and just left the body there. And then I had questions. I'm like, man, I said, what? Why so much?
Like, why play with them?
Why go so deep when a robbery? It seemed like it was almost a forced situation.
Yeah.
I mean, the loan shark just wants his money. Why does he go to extremes? And the guy said that he was a sadistic motherfucker. He, like another story told me about him, a fucking gambler one time. I guess he was betting like on horses or sports or something like that, and owed a mob
boss,
mob gambling dealer,
Okay,
or a bookie or whatever, right? And he said that this guy, I guess they had to collect from him, threatening quite a few different times through the years and stuff, and he'd make good but paid like extra or something. He, on one time, this one gambler that was doing that, he went after him, they said, and to collect, I guess he fucked up real bad and just like fucking prostitute, went all out and just kept borrowing money,
and never paying it back,
and everything. And he went to go skip town.
Oh no.
And he didn't even make it out of the area. The guy, the collector, was already sent for his ass. Because by the third one, he knew the bet guy, the gambler. When he had borrowed all that money, he was, besides spending it on prostitutes, he's gambling all these sports ones.
Yeah.
So he's using two different methods of getting money. He's using a loan shark, and he's also using
a gambling place.
A gambling place. Oh man, they said that collector, they called him and pushed the button on that fucking guy. He didn't even go to get the money. He went and they basically like just started cutting him up, body parts up,
they said
and dumping him all over the area, and like what he was in, basically, just cutting it apart and left it around. And that was a fucking warning to all them gamblers that were pissing them off and shit. He said that motherfucker went sadistic on that son of a bitch.
It sure sounds like it. I mean,
he said,
he said approach on that one.
Yeah, and I'm like, because when I first heard a couple of the stories about some of these shit this collector guy did, I'm like, so that's the guy, Or he's like, oh no, man, I don't know him. I know a guy that's in the mob that knows this guy, this group of people. And I was like, oh.
Sounds more right.
I said, because there's no fucking way in hell I would associate with that, man. That's psychopath.
Yeah, that really is.
That
and
is.
Also, I don't think that guy would appreciate your friend's loose lips.
Exactly. And I'm thinking, man, the FBI is going to come talk to you, dude, if you really know some shit. Because you're talking about, he's saying that this guy cut the body up in the clothes he was in. That way, because I guess something like, the way it sounded, the way the guy, he had said something about the way he had dressed. He had dressed, maybe it was a fashion way he dressed, so everybody, there's such and such, he's in this type of
like
clothes,
posh and pamper.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, that's some fucked up shit, dude.
It's definitely sending a message right there.
Yeah, and I'm like, you gotta be a stupid motherfucker to borrow money anytime. I don't know how desperate you gotta be to go to a mob loan shark. And especially, maybe nowadays, I don't know if the way inflation goes, it may be cheaper to go to a mob guy to get a loan than a bank, but you think people would think twice about trying to skip out, run, hide. And usually, like, they're called shills 90% of the time is what they'll call them, because they're just the runaways, and stuff. And I tell you, at extortion, they said he was the best at that. At extortion, they said it'd be nothing for him just to grab a guy and start bashing his head off the countertop until he decided to do it.
You also did say the guy had a temper, so
they said that he was just.
Right there.
They said he was just nuts intimidating. It was like, it was all on all the time for him. And I was like, well, and stuff. And then I did ask at a point, maybe 2 years ago when we got together, I did ask about that collector stories he has, because he has so many more of them.
Yeah.
But I asked, I said, is the guy, is he alive in jail or what? And he said, no, he's in jail. He said he's probably 70s, 80s, somewhere in there.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Like, yeah, up there, and I guess he's not going to see the daylight. He's going to end out
he has
in
multiple
his life in
sentences,
prison.
basically.
Yeah, so now I was like, oh shit, okay. Because, I'll give it to him. If he's bullshitting, he sure does commit to it.
Oh, yeah. He has one big imagination. If so, I wouldn't even be able to think about that.
Well, like through all the years, you got to figure through all the years, especially when I still drink and stuff, we'd sit in a bar for hours, just sitting there bullshitting, and he'd tell us stories because we hadn't seen each other for so long, and he'd tell all kinds of stories and stuff. He loved to do all that shit.
Oh yeah.
And he claimed he knows them and everything, and there was no sense. It was easier for us just to sit back and let him roll and laugh our asses off about how it is.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of people, man, somebody died, man. That was somebody's this. That was, well, take it for what it is. And yes, it is considered dark humor at that point.
Oh, yeah.
I will give that to it. But you got to understand, we're taking this on as he's bullshitting us most likely.
Oh, yeah.
It
makes it sit better too that way.
And it's not like I'm sending my condolences out to these families or anything, because I seriously doubt there's too much to it.
Mm-hmm.
But as he holds on tight to it, I'll leave it at that with that.
Yeah.
So what we'll do on this one, on the collector story, we'll go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we'll do the capo stories he would tell me.
All right.
And I'll explain what that is.
Okie dokie.
Rella Radio Show, Monday nights at 7 p.m. Central Time. DJ CO1.
All right, and we're back, and this is story number 2 that Dad says is called the capo story. Now, you want to tell us what capo means?
Yeah, a capo in the mob is usually a captain.
Okay.
He's a leader of a smaller group of guys that basically they're the ones that put in the work. He's got, it could be 8, 10 guys or so or more underneath them. They do various activities to get money and whatnot, legally, and stuff like that and stuff. And my buddy, he claims that's who he knows is a capo.
Alrighty.
Which is somebody that carries weight in a family. So he went pretty high. He's claiming that he knows a capo. So I don't know exactly how or anything like that, but that's what he claims, and that's how a lot of stories come to him. It's through him.
Okay.
All right. So the capo, basically, he doesn't play no games. He's a leader that, they rob drug dealers, they do extortion, they do all kinds of stuff. And he was telling me, the guy's like good and smart at what he does. He's like top-notch criminal type deal.
Okay.
He lives, eats, breathes this shit. That's what he does.
Yeah.
And he told me a story about the capo and like his crew, I guess. It was what it would be. The crew, they went to a bar. It's like a dive bar. You know what I mean? It's just maybe
like
3-4 tables
hole in the
along a wall, and then across from the wall is a walkway enough with a bar sitting there that runs just as long type deal.
Alrighty.
Okay, they're up in there for whatever reason. He said like to celebrate something. And they were invited to the bar by whoever they were celebrating with. And he said that the guy, come to find out, this is the fucking setup and stuff. And I'm like, holy shit. And he's like, the capo basically he explained it. Him and his crew were invited to a party at this bar. And supposedly whoever they're going to go see at this bar knew that it was their hangout, basically. So it was all good. They go in there and shit. And he said they're in there maybe 15 minutes. And they're looking around, waiting to see if the guys are coming in or if somebody pops out the shit or what,
Yeah.
They don't know what the fuck's going on. Where's these guys at? Then the next thing you know, from the fucking back door and the front door, people start rushing in.
Oh no, they sure like to do that, don't they?
Oh shit. Well, it's an ambush.
Uh-huh.
And they start firing upon them. two of his guys are hit right off the bat and go down. He's the type. He's already fucking. As soon as the door swung open, I guess he didn't feel right.
Yeah.
He fucking dove the bar.
Okay.
And shit, he's behind the bar. The fucking bartender's gone. They say he gone. He
As one would be,
nowhere
yes.
to be found.
I'd hope
Behind
so.
there. And I asked him, I said, man, that's real weird. Okay, I get the fact that, okay, the door swing open and, you know, and the capo reads the situation quick, you know, in a split second.
and dives
He's
over.
already protecting himself, right?
Yeah.
I get that part. I said, but the bartender, there's no fucking way the bartender, they wouldn't realize the bartender, A, wasn't back there at that point, or B, got out of the way that quick.
Yeah, he would have to be in on
You
it.
know, and shit. And that's what I said. And he said, well, the bartender was missing. Had gone in the back like to get more beer type deal or something
Okay.
like that and stuff, but didn't reemerge. I guess, is how he's explained it. The guy didn't come back
Alrighty.
out, I guess. So I don't know if he already knew and was going to hide or what the deal was. But the capo jumps. These guys, two of them are hit down, and then the other ones, you know, they're thumping tables. They're starting to fire back.
Oh, yeah.
And they get them at a bay, I guess, and shit. And he fucking takes a bottle of like this really, really, really strong liquor.
Uh-huh.
I asked him what name it was, but he told me I forgot. We'll say Everclear.
Okay.
Bottle of Everclear off and fucking just grabs a rag and sticks it in there and lights it and shit. And says that, like, at the back door, I guess they have made it in from the back door maybe to just a third in. They're not halfway in the bar yet, but
Yeah.
they're just maybe
They're just getting there,
maybe
though.
15 feet in or so. We'll say the
Okey-dokey.
whole bar is 100 feet long or some bullshit. They're maybe 15 feet or whatever. And he throws it at the fucking back over where they are. Fucking catches them two on fire at the
no.
back door.
Oh, God.
And says they're running around and shit. And he's like enraged at this point. He finds he finds like a, not a bat, but a small
Like a
pipe type deal.
Yeah.
But it's a wooden one, like a solid oak one, like a little
Club of some
club,
sort.
I guess.
Yeah, a club
like a
of some
billy
sort.
club almost.
Okay, okay.
Okay, and he just comes over in a fucking rage because these two are running on fire towards the middle of the bar.
Yeah.
They said he fucking come over the bar and just knocked both of them upside the fucking head as they're running across, you know, because they're on fire
Yeah.
and shit. Their clothes are, and I imagine their skin at that point. He knocks them fucking down to the ground good. All pissed off, is running at the other assailant that's left on the air because one of the guys that shot and killed the other two. He got shot that came in because there's 3 at one and 2 in the back.
Yeah.
Now 2 of those are down. There's 1 left, and he's running at full force at this guy because he's more at the front door, so to speak, maybe 5 feet in from the front door. Throws his, you know, the guy pulls up his gun, he said,
Yeah.
and the capo just flings that bar as hard as he can at him, and he hits him, I guess, or
Yeah.
whatever, you know, because he don't hit the gun. I know that.
Hits
and
the
he
guy.
he gets shot once, not in the shoulder, like kind of between your arm and the meat of your
Side.
yeah, kind of like through your chest and
Okey-dokey.
and side plate, just grazing through that. They said he got hit there as he came up on the guy, and as he grabs him, he puts his head window of the thing. It had a
Yeah.
solid bottom door to it with a big old window, stained glass window
Stained glass
style
window. Yeah, I know what you're
in
talking
the
about.
thing. And he put him through that and said he commits to just like a horrendous beating on him, throwing him to the ground.
Yeah.
Using basically was gonna stomp this guy's head all the way off one way or the other.
Oh, yeah.
He was going to be separated. His head was going to be separated from his body.
Yeah.
Is the way my buddy was saying this. He said that the beating was so horrendous that one of the guys got sick. You know,
Yeah.
I guess that's how bad it had gone. And then and I'm asking him like, so you know, where's the cops and shit and all this?
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm
stuff.
thinking.
This from what he's claiming is this whole thing was paid off. Cops were paid off.
Oh,
Everything to
shit.
ignore this. And I'm like,
How the
well,
hell?
how'd they stop 911 calls or anything from the neighborhood? And he said the neighborhood, a lot of it's dead. Like storefronts are done.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he says there's not a lot of, it's more of a desolate area. There's rented apartments above them, but they're not in great shape. They're low rental. So a lot of people mind their own business. I
It's
guess
a don't
is
ask,
way.
don't tell situation around
Yeah,
there,
I
basically.
think that's what he was getting at, is that it's, just mind your own business.
Yeah.
You're better off. We can only afford this area, so that's what we'll have to put up with until something changes.
Yeah.
But he said the ambush of him and that crew. He's like, he was telling them how it changed things for him, and the beating and everything. That when he tells them stories, about it, he gets
Like Vietnam style flashbacks of it.
yeah, I guess, yeah,
Like some
I guess that's
PTSD from doing it.
yeah. And I was like, no way, dude, you're
Like it must have
to
really
myself,
ingrained into his
well,
memory.
to myself,
to
I'm
get
like,
to that point.
you're way pulling my leg with this story.
Yeah.
I'm like, the dude. I said, now you're telling me this,
Excuse me.
to say it to him, he gets defensive
Yeah.
very quick about it. I mean, he is really into this.
Like, how dare you tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about type shit. Okay.
Mafia movies, you can't out-talk him in a Mafia movie. He knows every goddamn thing. Reads the books, everything. There is nothing that he don't know.
The old
So
live, eat, breathe
that's
shit
why some of it can be true, but it ain't who he's saying these things about. You know what I'm saying? He may be taking an incident from this crime family in some place, one incident here, using another different incident. So you're
and
not
just
even
combining them all
yeah, this is
together.
not even it's a mafia actions.
Yeah, but
they're
it's
not
like a cookie cutter copy
yeah,
pasted
it's like
storyboard
he's almost. I haven't heard the stories anywhere, or can confirm that. Yeah,
can't really
he's
confirm or deny
bullshitting
it,
and
but-
going there. So he may be making these completely up to where there's no way we can pull it from any
Yeah.
history books that might have something he read about him. So I'll give him that. So I'll leave a little weight to it, because it could be a small what he considers a mafia. You never know with him. But a capo like that, to be that violent and stuff like that.
And then all of a sudden, just psyche just split and switch on a dime like
Yeah,
that.
because he
That's
told me a
little
story
weird.
that like there was a daughter, that this capo has a daughter,
Okay.
and the school she went to was like a public school. And I'm thinking, if he's a capo, why the hell is she going to public
Yeah,
school?
that'd be
Would
private school
be-
all over
be
it right there.
Exactly, Catholic on top of it, most
Mhm.
likely. Most likely with the way he portrays this stuff.
Yeah.
So, I'm thinking, but it is what it is, Ed. So this mafia member's daughter comes to her dad talking about how her dad is constantly being bullied at his job.
Yeah.
Like, I guess he's like a factory worker, and this fucking supervisor or whatever, that's a bigwig supervisor, and the place just shits all over him all the time and stuff like that. And I guess that the little girl was upset because her friend was crying about her or whatever, and it got to the capo. Obviously, his
Yeah.
daughter's upset. Now he's pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess he sent somebody to talk to him, and the guy kind of like, fuck you, whatever, you don't come up here trying to tell me anything, what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think he sent someone, hey, can you take it easy on the guy? He sent it, from the way he was talking, he sent the nice guy.
Okay.
And didn't get her, and now I'm thinking, it was, the guy probably wasn't being nice, but he wasn't intimidating
threatening
or anything like that enough for this guy, because this guy may be a tough guy for all we know, right? Well, he don't get a good result out of that, so he shows up. They said he walked in the place, shut the door behind him, yanked the guy's little file cabinet thing right in front of the door, and the guy reaching over to grab the phone. The first thing he does is
Take the phone, strangle him with it?
no. That's
Oh.
what I was.
I was about to
That's
say,
what
that's
I
exactly
said
what
the first time. I said, and because that makes him mad when you jump into the story, that pisses him off. But that's the first thing this time. No, he had a switchblade right in the throat.
Oh,
right
shit.
off the bat, stabbed him in the throat.
Yeah. What
And
the
told
fuck?
him, "You're done here."
Yeah, he's done there. He got stabbed in the throat.
And I'm like, "No shit." Yeah, I'm like, "You no shit. He's done here." He goes, "You're done here." Grabs him and drags him out the place. Pushes the cabinet out of the way and yanks the door open, and he's just dragging this son of a bitch out the plant. Fuck him. I'm taking him,
Oh shit.
Took him, and I guess from what he said, he kind of ends it there by saying he took him, and the guy just didn't come back to work.
Yeah, the guy didn't come back to work. He was stabbed in the fucking throat. Don't mess with this dude's daughter. Ever. Ever.
No kidding.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and I was like, huh,
I mean, it makes sense. From what I understand, the minimal mob movies I've seen, they're really protective of their own personal family as well as their mob family.
yeah, but I think my buddy likes to tell them type of stories too to make them sound, because some of these stories he goes into they're extremely into the graphicness of it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
a lot of it is, I believe myself, is his imagination really working overtime on it.
Oh, yeah, just running wild.
Because he's got a mob mentality anyway. He really likes the mafia and stuff. I guarantee you this much: if he could have grew up into it, join it nowadays, he would. He'd be all over it. He would.
He's a big old live, breathe, eat, and shit it.
He'd be La Costa Nostra all the way.
He got some flappy gums. I don't know if he'd make it too far. I mean, telling you all these stories. Now that you're saying that he's getting the stories from the capo, I guess that's okay with the flappy gums.
Yeah, the loose lips sinking ship on that one really portrays itself hardcore with there.
Was he going to start a stand-up routine along with it?
The first mob comedian, I don't know how well that'd go over, man.
Talking about you guys, all these stories are true. These stories are true.
Talking about how Fat Louie got choked out in the spaghetti with a little arsenic.
It's all right, though. It's all right. I'm banging his daughter. Good story on me. Good story on me. Rest in peace, Fat Louie, I guess. Like, I don't understand it. This dude has I feel like he wants to be like part comedian along with it, but also like, yeah, dude. Like, I know mobs.
Yeah, well, like I had said earlier, he is very entertaining when he says it. He's a jokester. He cracks me up in stuff. And his stories with him, he's just so committed into it that you just let it go. And plus, I don't see him that often and stuff, and it's not a big deal to me. I kind of let it go, and he knows.
It's definitely
if he doesn't know, he'll know by the end of this show.
Yeah, it's definitely one of them that you kick back, relax, listen, and eat bag of popcorn along to.
That's why it's like
for the night.
Like it's my mob story,
Excuse me,
and stuff. He got some pretty good ones. He even gave me a good one for he's the third story. He's claiming it's a hitman.
Oh no.
And got first knowledge of this hit and how it went down wrong, I guess, is the way he says it. So when we come back, I'll give you a little details into this. Now this one will be interesting, so I hope you stay tuned and get ready for story number 3.
Rella Radio Show, Monday nights at 7 p.m. Central Time. DJ CO1.
Alrighty, and welcome back from our break. We're gonna tell the third story, and as Dad said, it was the hitman, and oh no, looks like he got another one. So, you want to tell us all about this hitman there, Dad?
Okay. My buddy, he goes into this real detailed hitman story that the guy told him again. This hitman that this crime family used was sent to go get, supposed to be a rival family guy. I guess he did something to the other family.
That just didn't sit well
and
with
they
them.
called for him to get hit.
Alrighty.
So basically the way it goes is the hitman goes out to do his job, and the way they're going to hit this guy is he's going to drop him in a restaurant because what they want is it to be a message sent is what they're sending and stuff. So this guy goes and sets up, and he's going to do this because he did his research and everything, found out where his target's going to be, right? Well, long and behold, his target shows up. He does the hit, gets him right through the nasal cavity, sitting in the restaurant.
Alrighty.
Drops him.
Okay.
Breaks down, goes on. Now he's showing up the next day to get his money, right?
Yeah.
Body's confirmed, everything. Cops don't know what's going on.
All
He
confused
shows
and
up
everything.
to get his money. The guy says, I ain't paying you. And
After
the
he just did the
hitman's like, the job's done, the body's public. What
Yeah.
more there was nothing left out, I want my money.
Yeah.
And they're like, that was the wrong guy.
What do you mean? What? No.
There was a guy in that organization that was
So they put a plan out, basically.
like a family. Yeah, well, no. What it was is the guy, he was just like a soldier. He was like a part of a crew of a capo in the crime family. You know what I mean? Because I guess the family, the way he's explained, is pretty big, so to speak. So there's a lot of soldiers to it.
Yeah.
What it was one of their soldiers, basically, that looked like the guy.
Oh, no.
That went in. He happened to go in before the guy. Oh, when he got dropped, the dude was on his way there. If he would have waited maybe 5 minutes more,
he would have gotten his target?
He would have noticed the right guy.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah, because they kind of dressed similar, stuff like that. They were kind of from around the same type of neighborhood.
Okay.
Shit like that. So they kind of resembled each other, too.
So it was basically an unfortunate lucky plant on their side.
Hell yeah. So the hitman's like, holy shit, you know.
At this point, I'd be like, I'm going to go fix this.
It's like, yeah, because I guess he's dealing with a capo from what I understand, who he reported to on the hit.
Yeah.
And it's like, we got to go to the fucking boss. You know, and this hitman's like,
oh shit.
what the fuck you mean I'm going to have to go in front of this boss?
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit, thinking to myself, this dude's dead. So
definitely.
they take him to the mob boss, right? And shit, he walks in there and walks up, shoots the mob boss in the head, and then turns the gun on himself.
What the fuck?
And I'm like, you're full of shit.
Yeah.
Right then and there, I called him on that.
Yeah, I was
He
going to say.
flipped out on me. He flipped out. He was like, no, I'm fucking serious. That's how the regime changed, and that's why this family would fought with this family, and then it went into this, and I'm like, holy crap, man, settle down.
Yeah, like,
and
holy shit.
And he'd been, and when I called him bullshit on that story, when I was like, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay, that I would have, I would have heard about, or at least, you know, because I watched some mob documentary. I've seen some things about it, and you would know if something like that went down. That's a kind of a big deal there.
Oh yeah.
The guy, because he's telling me this hitman has got an answer for his fuck up.
Yeah.
Okay, I get that all the way. That he's, you know, as far as how it works in the mob and whatnot. Okay, I see he's got to go see the mob boss. But to go in there, for one, why was he allowed to carry his fucking weapons with him?
Yeah, like,
you know,
this
I
is
mean,
a known hitman.
yeah, this dude's dangerous enough.
Take all of his weapons off of him.
Yeah,
That just sounds like a recipe for disaster right there. And then getting the opportunity to just like point blank clock the dude and then clock yourself, like.
That's, yeah.
There's at least he would have gotten shot by somebody else before he had the chance to shoot himself.
Well,
That's what I think.
even if let's say he had it in his front belt, you know, you couldn't see it. He walked in to the mob boss, and the mob boss is like, let's say he's looking for him to kiss his ring or some shit. Or something like that, and the guy just pulls the gun and hits him, and then turns on, hits him.
Yeah.
Because you figure you got the shock value of that going down. It's gonna give this guy at least 2 to 3 seconds. And that's enough time for after he's pulled, and I'm talking, he's got the gun and pulled the trigger. Because once the trigger's pulled in onto the head, you know, what they're about to witness happen to this head is going to give this guy about 2 seconds from that point to pull the gun back and do himself.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because he's already doesn't give a shit what's about to go down. He knows what the hell to expect.
Yeah.
These guys, out of nowhere, are going to watch this hit. And then he drops himself.
Now my question is, like, even the sudden movement, how your buddy's always saying how these guys have split-second reflexes. How did he get the chance to even pull the gun? I guess maybe they weren't even thinking it was going to happen. Maybe they thought they was going to play by the rules, lower their guard a little bit. It doesn't sound right there. See,
I call it bullshit. His explanation for this, to put levity to that story, to say, yes, I'm not bullshitting you. This is how it went down for this mob boss. He died. The hitman died. And I'm thinking, okay, you're going to justify this. I got to hear this shit.
Yeah, like, lay it on me.
Well, there was a struggle within the family, is the way he explained it off. So by taking out the boss, the underboss moves up. The capo, or not capo, the consigliere usually takes over for the underboss, or they bring in a new underboss, right?
Okay.
And shit, that's usually how that works. Okay? It depends on their shit. And that's how he explained it off. And the first thing out of my mouth is, I looked at him and I was like, you watched the John Gotti damn documentary, buddy. And he goes,
Nope.
that's bullshit. I said, bull crap, man. All you did was change it up to this hitman fucking screwing up a hit
Yeah.
and bringing, and then whacking the fucking boss and then himself to have another guy become boss. I said, that's like John Gotti killing having the goddamn Paul Castellano kill to take over the family, man. I said, you just, oh my God, he was so pissed off at me and shit. He laid into me for 20 minutes.
Oh, you're a ranter.
20 minutes shaking that beer bottle at me empty. You son of a bitch. And going in, oh my God.
How dare you fact check me? How dare you?
Yeah, you know, I mean, what you see in movies and whatnots, and they're claiming they're off real stories and all that, that's fine and dandy. But to really live in that life, it's not like he thinks it is.
Yeah, no.
He
not.
got this fantasy world about it that's like, you know, I listen to him and I never hear him talk about the police.
Yeah. It's always they got away with it.
And if there's an investigation, they beat it somehow, or or they paid somebody off. You know, the easy explanations that yeah, but come on, man. But
Every time, really?
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
and I give it to him, and those are just a couple of the stories. You know, he has he'll touch on stories sometimes, go back and add to some.
Yeah.
And then he'll tell us new ones and stuff. And we let him get away. He's all right. You know, it's not every day I see the guy. So
Yeah, I know what
it's
you mean.
not like I live it with him, thank God. Or he may end up out in the cornfield if he ain't careful.
Yeah, I mean, big component of loose lips sink ships. And this dude's sinking a
Yeah.
whole bunch of ships if he's factual in any of his stories. I mean,
Oh, that's...
he's
I
putting so
asked
many
him-
people away.
I said, do you realize how big of a target you really are? And his explanation was, well, man, you know, because he's using names. He's pulling out some of this
Big
shit. He's pulling
names.
out.
Yeah.
It's like, unless you know the who he's talking about, like in there, you know, you're in it because it ain't on TV
Yeah.
and stuff. He's talking like these are the, you know,
Like,
still being able to pull their shit. And you're talking now. This is back then. This, as far as now would be concerned, by his story time, it would make them in their 70s, 80s, like I told you.
Yeah.
So I mean, I wouldn't consider them, you know. And as far as me to go background them like you can nowadays with the internet and all that shit, I'm
it's
not
too much of
doing
a
that to
hassle.
'em.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm
At this
like,
point,
you know,
just,
he's
yeah.
a buddy. Screw it.
Yeah.
That's petty. To me, that's petty. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
man, I called you out on the mob hit. I called you out on the Hitman one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I did that, and I called him out hardcore too, boy. I pressed with it, and he fought that thing tooth and nail, and he came up with it. And he, you know, he got his mob history down like you wouldn't believe. So
I mean, at least he knows
you
what he's
know,
talking about, I guess.
he tied some on this one. On this one, I will say this much: he tied some bitches that you do know.
Oh shit!
Not personally, I mean, met or anything, but I mean, you know,
Like
by
you hear in the news and whatnot.
there's
the
there's
media.
there's
Articles
from
and whatnot.
articles to in a story, movie, and shit like that. You know, he pulled some shit out of his butt a couple times with that.
That's
but
hilarious.
yeah. I love him though, man. He's a good dude. He's all right.
All right.
So you gonna join the mob?
Hell no.
You don't want to join the mob?
No, it does not sound like a good idea whatsoever. Are you kidding me?
Come on, we'll start a mob.
No, thank you.
I know, isn't it? To me though, when you listen to him though, no comprehension, or you could tell he doesn't realize a real mobster, a real person in that type of life
Yeah.
lives such a stressful, just constantly looking over his shoulder. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
It's not the happy-go-lucky. It's not the Joe Pesci and them sitting in Goodfellas at the restaurant laughing and talking about you're a funny guy. And, you know, it's not really like that. There may be moments where they have a good time here and there, but for the most part, you're living on the edge. You got, never mind if you ain't worried about rivals or anything like that or inner turmoil. You still got the government to watch out for.
Oh, yeah.
And they're constantly wanting to be in everybody's business. So there's no way I would want to do it. And he thinks it's the greatest thing, sliced cheese, boy. I'll tell you what. So,
He has
you know,
another thing
to
to
him,
learn about that.
yeah, to him, I give him the ode. You got yourself some stories on our podcast. You made it.
There you go, buddy.
So, with
Your
that,
coffee bar story famous.
yeah, your coffee bar famous. All right, son, you ready to close this one?
Yep.
All right, this is Dad.
And this is Son. Thank you for listening to the Coffee Bar Stories. You have yourself a wonderful night.
Thanks for listening to Dad.
And Son on the Coffee Bar Stories.
Please join us each week for new stories.
All music in today's episode was brought to you by Kevin MacLeod.